When you put a 4-time Formula 1 world champion in the form of Sebastian Vettel up against a 2-time British touring car champion in the form of Jason Plato, who would you think is better? Well, I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, it's obviously Vettel. He's raced at a higher level, he's won multiple world titles, and he's won multiple races. But you would be mistaken, because when it came down to it, the wily old Brit got the job done against the legendary Formula 1 driver. Here's how Jason Plato beat a 4-time world champion in Sebastian Vettel. So I bet you're asking, when did this all take place? Well, it took place in 2015 at the London Stadium on day 1 of Race of Champions, where they run the Nations Cup, which is this kind of World Cup style system where 2 drivers from the same country take on another pair of drivers from the same country in a best out of 3 format, with the winner progressing on to the next round and then finally to the final. There were 10 teams this year represented, starting off with Team Germany, which were represented by Nico Hülkenberg and Sebastian Vettel. Then you had Team Nordic, represented by Tom Christensen and Petter Solberg. Then you had Team Australia, represented by Mick Doohan and Daniel Ricciardo. Then you had Team Brazil, represented by Felipe Massa and Nelson Piquet Jr. Then you had Team Scotland, represented by David Coulthard and Susie Wolff. Then you had Team Americas, represented by Ryan Hunter-Reay and Jose Maria Lopez. Then All Stars, represented by Sir Chris Hoy and Sir Romain Grosjean. And then you had England 1, represented by Jason Plato and Andy Priaulx. And then you had England 2, represented by Jenson Button and Alex Burkham. Then finally, you had Young Stars, represented by Julian Palmer and Pascal Wehrlein. For the sake of simplicity, I'll just be focusing on Jason Plato and Andy Priaulx's races, as that's who I'm focusing on in this video. Anyway, shall we get right into this? The first event was the qualifier for the quarterfinals, with England 1 versus Brazil. Not an easy one to start off with for the Brits, as race 1 was Andy Priaulx versus Nelson Piquet Jr. in the Euro NASCAR. Team England also lost the coin toss, so started in the outside lane, which they thought was a bit slower compared to the inside. Despite this though, Priaulx put in a solid performance, looking much more comfortable in the NASCAR, and made it 1-0 for England. Next was the big one, Jason Plato versus Felipe Massa in the Mercedes AMG SLS, the ninny man of Formula 1 versus the British touring car champion. It was close at the end of lap 1, with just 0.93809 seconds separating the two. Plato had a much stronger second lap though, which put him in front, and he would take the win by 0.9329 seconds to knock out the former Formula 1 race winner in a shock result. Next, they would face Team Young Stars to qualify for the semis. In the meantime, to qualify for this round, Young Stars beat All Stars 2-1. Then in the first of the quarters, Team Nordic won 2-1 over Team Americas. In the second one, Team Germany beat Team Australia 2-0. Then in the third quarter, Scotland lost 2-0 to Team England 2. Then it came to the last quarterfinal, with Young Stars up against Team England 1. They would be racing at the Ariatum Cup, with Priaulx starting on the inside line, with Wehrlein on the outside. The ex-World Touring Car Champion got off to a great start, with a 0.2352 second lead on Wehrlein by the end of lap 1. Priaulx kept up the impressive pace, taking the win by 0.2669 seconds. It was then down to Plato to take out Julian Palmer in order to get England 1 to the semi-finals. Surely Plato could beat Palmer after beating Felipe Massa. It turns out no. Palmer came out on top on the inside lane by 0.2178 seconds from Plato, sending this round to a decider. The Guernsey man got a better launch off the start. Then when they crossed the line for the first time, Palmer got a kick of oversteer into turn 1 on the inside lane, and from there Palmer was really fighting a losing battle. Plato crossed the line to send England 1 to the semi-finals. Between their next race, the first of the semi-finals took place, with Team Germany being Team Nordic 2-0 to progress to the final. This meant if Andy Priaulx and Jason Plato made it to the final, they would verse the GOAT and Sebastian Vettel. In this semi-final round, Plato and Priaulx faced Team England 2 of Alex Buncombe and Jenson Button, so this was definitely not a quick 2-0 win type of matchup, as was seen at the end of lap 1, with just 0.1378 seconds separating the pair, with Priaulx in the lead in the KTM Expo. Priaulx had a strong second lap though, allowing him to take the win by 0.685 seconds, making it 1-0 to Team England 1. It was another big battle next, as Plato took on Button in the Mercedes AMG GTS. It was a close battle considering Plato was in the outside lane, but Button ultimately came out on top by 0.1569 seconds to send this to a decider between Button and Priaulx. The winner would face Germany in the final. In a bit of an anticlimax though, just before the decider, Button was claiming about a gearbox issue with the Ariel Atom Cup. This may have been the reason he was so off the pace, being 2.9276 seconds slower than Priaulx at the finish line, but this did send England 1 to the finals against Germany. So it came down to this: the plucky BTCC legends up against the F1 megastars for the Nations Cup. And Vettel couldn't handle the pressure as he got off to an awful start, nearly jumping it. This allowed Priaulx to create a lead, which he never yielded, delivering Vettel his first ever loss in the Nations Cup, and he was 6 races unbeaten before this point. So it was down to good old JP to beat Nico Hülkenberg and bring the Nations Cup home for England. Which for a driver like Nico Hülkenberg though, that is easier said than done. Another thing that didn't help was Plato was on the outside line in the Mercedes. Plato's first lap, he ran wide at inside turn 1 and at the final corner. These little mistakes gave Hülkenberg the win by 0.7992 seconds. So it was a tiebreaker again. The question was, could Priaulx bring England 1 the Nations Cup by defeating Nico Hülkenberg? It was a clean start from both drivers. Priaulx had an advantage on the inside lane, and he took it as he ran away with the lead. It was a truly incredible drive by Priaulx, as by the first lap he was already 9 tenths up, and then he added another 9 tenths to bring England 1 the Nations Cup and the overall win in the competition, meaning Jason Plato beat a 4-time Formula 1 world champion. And here was Jason Plato's reaction to this. You know, just to race against these guys, they're the best in the world. To have the opportunity to race in this sort of venue against this caliber of driver, also it's a bit more relaxed. A little bit more fun to be had between us. Of course, when you put the helmets on, it's serious. But as soon as the helmets are off, then we're having a beer again. So yeah, it's great, isn't it? So there you go. Jason Plato is better than a 4-time world champion. Definitely no arguments from that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.